we have a couple minutes for discussion, and maybe just to kind of wrap up some thoughts from the four folks that we just heard from. I'm struck with the idea that privilege kind of runs through the four presentations. For T. Luke, it's the privilege of being able to export the skills that we're lucky enough to have and to share back with the world some of what we have been lucky enough to get in a position of great access to everything, really, if you think about it, compared to the rest of the world. And that chance to then reseed the world with some of what we have, I think is great. With Mark, really seeing architecture beyond the buildings and the privilege that we have of the leadership qualities we've got, using those qualities to make a difference in the world, make a difference for our profession, and to improve the spaces around us. With Brian, it seemed like the connection to the past was really his way of moving forward. And that's something I've always been really focused on myself, is connecting to, I'm a fifth generation Californian, and I really find what we've done here in the past is really important for me to think about how we're going to move forward. So I think that was certainly something Brian was talking about. And lastly, I apologize again to William and to you all for the challenging presentation just to hear and see it. So our apologies for that. But with William, realizing that there's a lot of power and privilege that we've created on the net, and trying to use that to push our message forward and make a difference. So with that, are there any comments or thoughts about what we've heard this second session? And you have to talk into two mics. Just like this. Or is everyone just hungry?
Hi. When I was coming into the profession many years ago, as a student, intern, etc., I had assumptions about what the profession was going to bring to me, and I assumed I would follow its lead. So I would say from the last four speakers, what they outlined are real paths that you can define. I would strongly encourage you to start that process immediately if you haven't already, because the future isn't going to come from the existing leadership by itself. And I don't think you're going to get to where you need to be by asking permission. And I don't think you're going to get the support that you're going to need if you're waiting to be handed that by others. They're going to respond when you leapfrog them with results. And all of the speakers today are doing things that many an architect would be envious of. So by doing those things, and it was said earlier today, just move quickly, right? Act quickly. Do it. So the last four in particular just seem to spell out, pursue your own path. And I would just add, do it as boldly as you can. And you really need to do that and not be waiting for others to give you that permission.
I have a specific question for Brian from AIACC. So in your presentation, it looked like what you were trying to tell us is, as emerging professionals, we really need to focus on what's added value, what we bring in terms of our design capabilities. But as emerging professionals who are new to the field, what our focus on is usually the construction documents, it is the detailing, it's the stuff that's increasingly being commoditized. And that's what we're required to do in our jobs. So what would you recommend us doing in addition to that to become more valuable?
Go ahead, Sarah.
I think specifically what you're kind of getting at is when you start looking at standards or protocols for licensure, right? And you're looking at a list of things that you have to do to become, quote unquote, a licensed architect. I think that's just one piece of the puzzle, right? Because it's part of the rules. You have to do it. Outside of that, I think what you need what I would, you don't need to listen to me at all, but it's the idea that the emerging economy, whatever it is, more and more looks like it's going to be something, and so far has been very lateral. And so I think that, to focus on creative problem solving techniques and talents, begin to surround yourself with more and more people that you can do that with outside of the office or in the office. To become a successful architect, I feel that, and I've only been licensed for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, but it seems that it's so much more than just your standard 8. So it's going to require that, if you're going to surround yourself and take part in, these co-working situations or cohabitation with other design professionals, it's going to be on your own time. So you need to make the investment in yourself now for the future. And that's what I would suggest.
Hi, my name is Tim Alatorre. I just would like to add maybe a summation of that general idea in that your job is not your career, and don't think of what you are assigned to do in your office as your only opportunities for growing yourself and advancing your career.
Hi, I'm Nick Dokas, and I work with Brian at AIACC. And not to be redundant, but to punctuate the points that have been made, I've been an architect now for 25 years or so, and what's surprising is how fast you get to where I'm at. The time goes in no time, and what you have to do is get involved. I got involved with community boards. I'm involved in AIA. So all of those opportunities that you do in addition to learning the profession add to who you are. They provide perspective, they provide experience, and they provide opportunities for you to grow. And if you look at it all, this is a relationship building, and the more connections and relationships you make, the more relevant you are. I think everybody's relevant as they are individually, but it's more fun to do it as a collective than to think that you just figure it out when you're sitting at your, and I'm going to date myself, your drafting table or your computer screen. But get involved. This is not just about a job, it's about a career where you invest and what you do and what you believe in.